Hello, everybody. Thanks for watching again. T-shirts for your business, for my business. What am I talking about? T-shirts for my business.com. T-shirts for my business.com. T-shirts for my business.com. 1-844-744-7878. Toll free 844-744-7878. You should be coming here for a variety of reasons, not necessarily for T-shirts to promote your business, although that's what we are significantly talking about. We're also talking about the ultimate form of leadership, which is parenting. And we're talking about, of course, the great game of football as a metaphor for all of this. I wanted to share with you a line from one of these online selling gurus, and believe me, they have selling at least online, if not selling to the North American consumer down to a science. His name is Frank Kern. He's kind of, over the last couple of years, he's going through a bit of a metamorphosis. Not that that's more dramatic than it actually is, but anyway, here's what he has said repeatedly. And don't downplay the premise. It's all premised on the first thing, which is, he says, aside from the ability to deliver your promises to your consumers, to your customers, aside from the ability to deliver your promises to your customers, the gospel according to Frank is repeated over and over again. The surest way to acquire wealth is to learn how to turn advertising into profit consistently. Stated a different way out of the same mouth. The most consistent and fastest way to create wealth is to have the ability to turn advertising into profit. A final way, same message. Writing and creating advertising that consistently turns into profit, in my opinion, is the single most important thing you could ever learn how to do. It can't be taken away from you unless by lobotomy or something like that. It's a skill you'll have for the rest of your life. I hope that resonates with parents. It's a skill that will remain with you for the rest of your life. If you want your kids to have something that they can start building immediately, writing in words stuff that's going to sell stuff to other people. So, actually what I wanted to talk about, and it's all related to those statements that are all communicating the same thing. And let's not forget the first part. Aside from the basis. Too often, especially in this WW email era that we're in, we focus on the marketing phase. Okay, as I like to say, marketing has never scored a touchdown and it never will. So the premise is that your product really doesn't matter. That's wrong. Everything starts with the product. You want to build it better than you sell it. As I like to say in football, I say that all the time. We're going to build it better than we sell it. We're going to work nice and slow towards something great. And that statement, which is, so many statements are misunderstood because they just want to be grabbed and dismissed by the unqualified, by the thin slicers who aren't qualified to thin slice. That statement, work nice and slow towards something great, I learned from a high school coach that generally had a 8, 9, or 10 game schedule. So it's not just applicable to the NFL, for example, where there's 16 games, or the Canadian Football League where there's 18 regular season games. Clearly it's a marathon. But football's played 1 week at a time, fundamentally. One time per week, 1 week at a time. You plan, you execute, you play the game, you get the test, you get the result of the test. You deconstruct, which is a vital part that people skip over. And you have to bake in efficiencies into all of this. Okay, being an efficiency expert. So, we talked about in the past, and we'll continue to talk about, where if you're going to use something to promote your business, especially something like a t-shirt, which is the best form of word of mouth advertising within word of mouth advertising, at the center of word of mouth advertising. You just got to think about it for a few decades so that that really resonates with you. Or the Malcolm Gladwell 10,000 hours. You want to take the process and all of the logistics of distributing / selling the t-shirt off of your premises, definitely physically. You do not want the transaction to take place physically at your place of business, nor conceptually. What do I mean by that? I love to use the car dealership as a perfect environment for this. I talk to a lot of car dealers and they'll say, well, we've got a separate room set up for all of our gear and our media and all that sort of thing. That's fantastic. Your coffee mugs, if you want all of that. But don't see it as promoting your business in the traditional way that you would with a t-shirt. You don't want to have a room for that, because your customer, who is there fundamentally to buy a vehicle, is seeing you creating other streams of income. And especially when you're using a big ticket item like that, you don't want your customer even remotely believing you need other streams of income. Instead, you're selling a Ford Focus or a Mercedes-Benz or a Maserati. It doesn't matter. The main reason you want to figuratively and physically take the transaction of the t-shirt that will promote your business off-site is because you can't control the variables when you do it on-site. And the number one thing you want is you don't want any potential negative with that transaction. Let me just give you one example. Let's say you've got that car dealership and you've got your salespeople. Okay, now salespeople are on edge anyway, especially in car dealerships, high pressure, yada, yada, yada. And you decide, hey guys, we're going to do this deal, guys and gals, we're going to do this deal where we're giving t-shirts away and or we are selling t-shirts for $9.95 a piece, which is a better than fair price for a t-shirt. And of course it's got my dealership on the top, www.mydealership, 1-800-MY-DEALERSHIP. Okay, that's basically all you really need. You can do that whatever you want. If you choose to put something nice on the back, a series, a beach scene, a muscle car, romantic, the family outing scene on the back, wonderful. Remember, front-facing, torso-worn garment, a t-shirt. All right, so you tell the way you're going to distribute, whether you're selling them, whether you're simply giving them away, is via your salespeople. Is it going to be the same at dealership R and at dealership 321, wherever it is? Assuming you're going to distribute and or sell them exactly, theoretically, according to the manual that doesn't exist, the same way. Of course not. Of course not. The salesperson's going to change. So how about he's got a call on line 3 and he's dealing with this customer, and the customer, he's directing, hey, you may want one of our t-shirts. Okay, what size? And we go through all that process. And now I go. And all of a sudden I get a call, and I know that call is one I was waiting for. And so now you've got all these moving parts, not to mention the morale. What are the guys talking about by the water cooler? Now we got to sell these damn t-shirts. This guy's got to sell these t-shirts. So what? And then plus it's coming off of our commission, because when they use the t-shirt as value, we're knocking the price down of the vehicle $700. Whatever the possibilities are. Now you take it off site. You have a third party handle the distribution. Now before you go and say, okay, well, I know there's Cafe Press and there's booster.com and we can do all of that, you have to stay tuned and listen to everything. What's the problem with the drop shipping? And it's all about your customer. If you're thinking about your customer, no matter what business you're in, think from the customer out, just like you would with your family. It's the family, the family, the family. That should preoccupy your thought with regard to what? Everything. With regard to your career, with regard to your belief systems, with regard to what you consume to put in your bodies, your food, your diet, with regard to exercise, with regard to the thoughts you put in your minds. The family, the family, the family. The business, the business, the business. What are you in the business of? You're in the business of customer service. Search on Amazon about 3 times a day, 3 times daily. Eye on its dot, or you can search the logo, T with an eye on its dot in the middle of the word shirt. Okay, search 3 times daily. It's good for you. And it's the best way to repay all these nuggets. I'm going to leave you with one thing I want to read you. The thing that people skim over. Aside from the ability to deliver your promises to your customers, that's your product. The customer, the customer, the customer. Aside from the ability to deliver your promises to your customers, that's not an aside. That's the central issue. Build your business from there, from outside. Later.